Welcome to Core Cutting Today for January 1st, 2020. It's the first day of 2020 and it's a holiday, so instead of doing our normal news breakdown, I'm actually going to give you some of our core cutting predictions for 2020. Jess and I have sat down and wrote out 3 serious ones for me and 3 kind of out there where maybe they could happen, but kind of my more aggressive predictions, we'll call them. And we're going to have a little fun doing this. Now, these are just predictions. I'd love to know what your predictions are for 2020 and what you think will be happening in the world of core cutting. Now, again, if you're new here, do me a quick favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. And hopefully I can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Well, let's get started with our 3, or at least my 3 realistic predictions. I'll do Jess's predictions at the end here. But these are predictions that I feel very likely could happen. These are the ones I'm watching for because I think they are more likely than not to happen. Starting off with, more streaming services will fail. Now, if you remember last year, I predicted that a major live TV streaming service would not make it through 2019. And I was kind of right there. PlayStation Vue did announce that they were shutting down, but they're shutting down this month. But the announcement was in 2019, so I'm going to claim that as a victory. But this year, I'm going to predict that maybe not a live TV streaming service, but several major live or on-demand services, or maybe a live TV streaming service, won't make it through 2020. And this isn't about core cutting failing. This more has to do with maybe an oversaturation of the market. There are over 100 streaming services targeting core cutters just in the United States. And when you have that many, at some point, something's not going to make it. You know, the great thing about core cutting, with no contracts, the best can rise to the top, the worst will fall to the bottom, and somebody won't make it in between. So I predict maybe more than one major, and when I say major, I mean a service that's been around for a few years, service with a name you'll recognize. Maybe you didn't subscribe to it, but you probably, if you followed Core Cutters News, may have heard of it. I predict that some of them won't make it. I'd love to know, which service do you think is most likely to fail in 2020? And I really do want to reiterate again that this is not a reflection on core cutting. I think core cutting is going to have a banner 2020. I think the problem is that at some point, you know, when you have 8 live TV streaming services and 90 or 100 some on-demand services, at some point people are going to find out, hey, these ones are the most popular. This is where the majority of the people are going to go. At some point, some of these other services are just not going to make it. So I'd love to hear from you. Which ones do you think are most likely not to make it? Not much different than a neighborhood. I used to live on a city which had 3 grocery stores, all within eyesight of each other. Well, at some point, the better grocery store won out, right? There's still 2 of them there, but the third one, the older one, the one that did not update their service, the one that didn't have very good customer experience for it, it eventually lost out because I could go to that other store which updated its store and offered the same products with similar pricing but a better customer experience. They won out. And I think that's the same thing that's going to happen here. All right, number 2. Now this one I won't have to explain, but NFL Sunday Ticket online streaming. Now this may not actually go live this year, but I predict that we will get news about NFL's plans for streaming online. Now the NFL has made it very clear that not this upcoming season, but the season after. So after the 2021-2022 season, the NFL Sunday Ticket will expire for AT&T's exclusivity. The NFL Network has made it clear that they want to stream it online, and I predict that we'll start getting news about that this year. There's been rumors that Amazon is a top contender for this. We'll see how this all plays out. So I predict we will learn more about that in 2020. And then lastly, my last serious prediction is that Roku and the Fire TV will dominate 2020. We've already seen separation start coming. Android TV and Apple TV are starting to fall behind. Roku and Fire TV are starting to pull away. I predict that in 2020, the lead of Roku and the Fire TV will become so dominant that all other competitors will basically fall by the wayside. Now, I don't predict that the Apple TV will go away, and I'm not predicting that Android TV is going to die, but I do believe Google will continue to focus on Android TV as a cable box OS, where it's all about what is being offered to cable companies and less about the end consumer. Now, I just predict that at some point the market share will just become dominant. That I think Roku and Fire TV could at some point dominate over 90% of the market between the two of them. And that is my prediction for 2020, that may come into reality in 2020, where maybe 90% of new streaming players sold in the United States could be Roku and Fire TVs. We already see reports that half of all new streaming players in the United States are Rokus, followed by the Fire TV. I predict the Fire TV will continue to grow. I don't think Roku is going to lose any big market share. If anything, they may gain some. I think the people who are going to lose market share are Android TV and Apple TV devices. Some of that has to do with pricing. The flagship Android TV and the NVIDIA Shield is kind of pricey, though they've worked on that. And Apple TV, if they don't come up with a cheaper, maybe new streaming player, could also be left by the wayside now that the Apple TV app is available on Roku, Fire TV, and more. So let me know, what do you think? Am I way off? Those are my 3 serious predictions. Now let's go for my 3 way out there predictions. Now don't hold me to these. These are ones that I think have a possibility. May not be realistic. It may not really happen, but it's possible. Starting off with a la carte TV becoming a reality. There's definitely a push towards this idea that you can subscribe to just the channels you want. Maine is trying to make that a law. It's facing legal challenges. Spectrum kind of has a model like that where you can pick 10 channels from a list for a flat fee. And if I predict in 2020 that a la carte TV will become a reality, maybe not quite the way you want it to be, may not have everything you want, but a true a la carte TV option may start popping up. And if you follow me, if I had to realistically predict this, I would say Spectrum's choice plan is very similar. This idea that, hey, you pay us $20, let's say, and you get to pick 10 channels from this list. That'll probably be the first generation of a la carte TV. I think in the long run, it will look very different, that at some point we will also be able to go and say, I just want ESPN, I just want Fox Sports, and maybe only get 3 channels. But I think the first generation, if I was being realistic, would be this idea that, hey, you can create your own bundle from a list for a flat fee. Number 2, and this is a rehash, I'm going to bring this one back up. There's been a lot of talk about Roku being sold. Who would buy Roku? Who would be interested in Roku? If I had to pick one, a lot of people ask me this, I would say Walmart. Walmart and Roku have a very tight relationship. Walmart's been looking at getting more and more into streaming. If I had to predict, I would say Walmart would be the company most likely to buy Roku. With that said, I'm not sure Roku wants to be sold. I think Roku's having fun doing what they're doing. They're seeing their stock price go up. They're seeing their market share grow as they expand around the world. Roku's in a very fast-growing industry, and they are kind of the name to beat in the United States. So I think there is a reason to say Roku doesn't have a need to sell right now. So we'll watch that very closely. And lastly, my last way out there prediction, Roku will start cutting back on streaming players to focus more on smart TVs. Roku has made it very clear that smart TVs are the future. I predict in 2020 that we may see fewer Roku models hit the market as Roku dives deeper into smart TVs. Now, this is my prediction, but I do believe there is a good likelihood that, if not this year, very soon, streaming players won't die, but Roku may not be offering 5 different models. They may go them down to 2 or 3 different models as they focus more on smart TVs. So there you go, my 3 serious predictions, my 3 way out there predictions. But let's see what Jess has. Jess came up with some of her own predictions, and here they are real quick. I'll just list them off, and I'll love to hear what you think of them. Starting off with a focus on free ad-supported streaming. In 2019, we saw a huge growth of that. In 2020, Jess predicts that ad-supported free streaming services like Pluto TV and more will become even more popular. Short-form video services will become more popular. We're seeing some launch coming up here where you'll pay to watch short-form videos like YouTube videos, but on your phone with major movie stars and more. Next prediction is AT&T TV now will merge into HBO Max. We've heard a lot of talk about this. They're saying 2021, but maybe AT&T doesn't wait that long. Maybe live TV pops up in HBO Max this year in 2020 That's Jess's prediction. And a couple not so serious predictions, as she puts them. Cable companies become cord cutters, predicting that cable companies will get more and more into offering cord cutting friendly services. PlayStation Vue may come back from the dead. Somebody may buy the name, or Sony may work out a deal to bring the service back. And that's her way out there predictions. So if you want to find these predictions in writing, check out the show notes down below. If you have your own predictions you would like to throw out, or your thoughts on our predictions, we'll love to hear from you. Remember, we're trying to have a little fun here. So let's all remember that as we comment about the predictions and what your predictions may be. So I'll see you tomorrow back for a normal cord cutting today episode. Hope you enjoyed this 2020 predictions look, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks you everybody for an amazing 2019. I look forward to working hard to bring you the best cord cutting news in 2020. Take care everybody. I'll see you real soon.